जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी। वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम Ram Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Shri Radhe Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Shri Radhe Jaya Jagannath Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Subhadra Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. कली युग पावन युग धर्म श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की, जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की, ताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरे कृष्णा। So once again, thank you all of you for coming to our Sunday fish program at Eindhoven. So many familiar faces and many new faces also today. So all of you are most welcome. So before starting with our discussion, so we have started with Shrimad Bhagavatam. So today we will discuss from the first canto. So Shrimad Bhagavatam is divided in 12 parts. So it is called as Skanda in Sanskrit, and in English we call it as cantos. So today we will be discussing from first canto because we are starting in a sequence. And today, last time we discussed the third chapter. So today we will discuss the fourth and fifth chapter of the first canto of Shrimad Bhagavatam. So that will be our today's topic of discussion. So before starting with our discussion, let us offer our sincere gratitude towards Lord Krishna, who is the source of all knowledge, towards Veda Vyas, who has worked tirelessly for all of us, and because of that we have access to these scriptures now. So today we will discuss more in details about who is Vyasdev, what is his work, and how this entire Shrimad Bhagavatam comes in a picture, what is the origin of that. So that we will discuss today. So before starting, let's offer our gratitude towards towards Krishna and towards this Guru Shishya Parampara, also towards Vyas Maharshi. So everyone please close your eyes. Our mind might wander here and there, but let's try to bring it back into these auspicious sound vibrations. And for next few minutes, let's try not to think anything else. So please close your eyes and then repeat it after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottama Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमो पङ्कजनाभाय नमो पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रये। ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। So we are discussing from Shrimad Bhagavatam. So last week we discussed from the third chapter of Shrimad Bhagavatam, from the first canto, and this chapter establishes the fact. So every scripture, or say every literature, has particular theme and it has some specific verse which we can say is the essence of that. So for example, in Bhagavad Gita, so what is a paribhasha sutra of Bhagavad Gita? So for example, if you want to summarize Gita in one line, what is that? In one verse, what is that? So that is सर्व धर्मान परित्यज्य माम एकम शरणम रज हम त्वाम सर्व पापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुच. So this is considered as the paribhasha sutra or the essence of Bhagavad Gita. So we have gone through the journey of Gita already with this group, and now we are starting with Shrimad Bhagavat. So what is the paribhasha sutra of Shrimad Bhagavat? So that is, it was discussed in the third chapter of the first canto, and that was etecham sakalam pumsa krishnastu bhagavan swayam indrari vyakulam loke mrugayanti yuge yuge. So here the Vyasa Maharshi is establishing the fact that who is Krishna. So Krishna is etecham sakalam pumsa krishnastu bhagavan swayam. So he is basically the supreme personality of Godhead. All the other incarnations which are meant indrari vyakulam loke. So whenever Indra becomes vyakula means when Indra becomes worried, the devatas, they become worried, they basically approach Lord Vishnu, and then Vishnu helps them in managing the law and order of this universe. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuga yuga. So that's how Krishna incarnates in different avtaras. So here this verse is establishing that all other incarnation which we have seen till now, which we have heard till now, the incarnation which are described in all the revealed scriptures, they are the plenary portions of the Krishna, and Krishna is the supreme personality of God. He is the origin and from whom everything is emanating. So now why I am discussing about the last chapter, because this is important pretext for our today's discussion. So then this fourth chapter begins with so do you know what's happening in Shrimad Bhagavatam? What is the scene? Who is telling to whom till now? Anyone wants to share? What is this Shrimad Bhagavatam? Yes, very good. So it's a conversation between Suta Goswami and Shaunak Rishi. And then what they are discussing?
Discussing another conversation.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. So whatever the discussion which happened between Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, that discussion is narrated by the Suta Goswami, because Suta Goswami was the audience. When the Parikshit Maharaj heard it from Shukadeva Goswami, that time this Suta Goswami, he was the audience, and then he narrated this to the at Naimisharanya is a place in India, in Uttar Pradesh, and that's the place where all great sages from all over the world, they assembled there, and then they were discussing that what is the essence of all the scriptures, what is the ultimate duty of a person who is on the verge of death. So they were trying to with this thought they have come together, and then they unanimously selected Suta Goswami as their leader. And then here Suta Goswami explained this narration which happened between Parikshit, who was the king of world at that time, and then between the Shukadeva Goswami. So now this Shukadeva Goswami is a son of Vyasa Maharshi. So today we will dig into some history behind this Shrimad Bhagavatam, why this Shrimad Bhagavatam is composed. So there are different scriptures, so out of which the Shrimad Bhagavatam is called as Vedanta Sutra. It's basically summarized the essence of all the Vedas in this book. So who is the author of Shrimad Bhagavat? Anyone knows? Yes, it is Veda Vyasa. So Vyasa Maharshi, he has basically he is considered as a literary incarnation of Krishna. So he is a Shaktavesh avatar of Krishna, and his mission in his life was to compile all the Vedic literatures so that people in general in this age of Kali, they can have access to this information. Because earlier in the previous yugas, the people, their intelligence was extremely sharp, the power of retention was very high. So that's why if they used to hear it anything just once, they used to remember it for life. So that's how it was in the earlier ages. But now, as soon as the Kali Yuga approaches, the age in which we all are living, our memory is not very strong, right? If I ask you what you ate exactly at the same time 1 month back, nobody will able to recollect, isn't it? So our memory has a limitation, it's not as sharp. But previously, people used to remember it for their life. They used to be ek party. Once they hear, they memorize it for throughout their life. But this is not the case with people in this age. And because of that, we need something documented somewhere, so that other people can access it. Because earlier the knowledge was passed through disciplic succession, guru shishya parampara. The guru used to tell to his disciple, and then the disciple used to tell it to the next one. So that's how the parampara system that used to work. Now also it is working, but then to have the access of this spiritual literature, we needed that in the documented form, and it was quite difficult to study that. So for that was the mission of Vyasdev. So this Vyasdev, who is basically incarnation of Krishna only, and his focus was to document all the scriptures, so that people in general in this age of Kali, they can access to it. So do you know how Vyasdev is born? So I am telling these stories. So today there will be many stories. So please try to remember these names. So why I am telling you these stories? So that we understand why this Shrimad Bhagavatam is so sacred, and why we should hear it, study it on a regular basis. So the story goes, so once there was a very great sage. His name was Parashar Muni. So Parashar Muni, he was a very advanced sage. He has the knowledge of scriptures. Also, he was specialized in the astrology. So there is a branch of astrology, it is also known as Parashar astrology. Right. So then there is a Nadi Shastra, which is coming from the Agastya Rishi. So like this, the general astrology which is there in India, most of it follows the Parashar system. So he was very intelligent, well versed, and he was a great devotee of Lord, very advanced person. So he was going, so he wants to cross the river Yamuna. So then when you want to cross the river, you need boat, right? So he was searching for boat, and then he found one lady, one girl basically. She was young in her youth, and she was carrying this boat. She was doing this job of like transporting people from this end to that end. So that was her profession. So she was doing. Her name was Satyavati. Yes. So her name was Satyavati, and she was a daughter of fisherman. So when she was doing this, and then Parashar Rishi, he wants to cross the river. So then he also sat in that in the boat, and while he was in the river, that time he saw the atmosphere. So now he is in the river Yamuna, and that time he is seeing the auspiciousness all over the place, and he calculated, and as per his calculation, that day was Ashad Purnima. So in the Vedic system, the months names are different: Chaitra, Vaishak, Jeshta, Ashad, Shravan, Bhadrapad, Margashirsha, Paush, Magh, Phalgun. So these are these rutus, or these seasons based. They are based on the seasons. So it was a Ashad month, and it was a Purnima day, full moon day basically. And particular that moment, that time, it was so auspicious that if any child born at that moment, that person is actually the incarnation of Krishna himself, and that person has the power to transform the entire world with their writings, with their understanding of scriptures. So by seeing this, Parashar Rishi because these great sages, they have only one vision, that how people in general can how people in general can live their life on the foundation of dharma. Because if we live our life on the foundation of dharma, then we experience satisfaction in our life. It's not possible just by interacting with the matter can't provide us satisfaction. So for good of people in general, that's their thought process always. So that time, because that moment was so auspicious, extremely auspicious, so then this Parashar Rishi, he requested Satyavati that I want, this is a very auspicious moment. If we unite at this moment, we will get a son who will be the incarnation of Krishna himself. So then that time Satyavati, she was not, she was under some confusion. She said, no, I'm not even married, and how I can basically and then this is in middle of the river. So then she put forward three arguments. So the first argument is, she said, because the Satyavati, her body was smelling, she has a smell of fish. Yeah, so her birth story is also very interesting. So these are some fascinating story. We might say through our logic, no, this is like stupid, it's not going to happen, how it is possible. But these sages, they are extraordinary, that's why their life is also extraordinary. So the devatas, they are advanced people. So because they have greater control over the subtle aspect of this world. So now we in this human form of life, we can at the max control the matter, we can manipulate matter. So all the discoveries which you see in this world, all they are happened based on the matter. But if you go deeper into the spirituality, then you will get a power. Like for example, there are certain processes, yoga process, by which you can even control the subtle aspect of this world. For example, Hiranyakashipu, he did severe penances, severe tapasya, and then by the power of that tapasya, he got boon from Brahmaji. And then after getting that boon, he was even able to control all the seasons. If he say now there should be night, then sun has to set. That much he was powerful, that much he has the control. So these great sages, they also had that power because they have they are connected with the universal energy. So then Satyavati said that because my body is full of this smell of fish, because she was born from the fish basically. So her father, his name was Dakshar. So he was in charge of the fisherman. He found one big fish, and when he cut that fish, there was two human beings in that. And then there was one boy and girl. So the boy he gave to the king. He was a Shedi king. So that's a Bundelkhand area currently in the current geography in India. It's at Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh border, Bundelkhand. So he was a king of, I'm not able to recollect his name. So then he gave that son to this king, and the name of that boy was Matsya. And then this girl, then he gave that girl to the fisherman who found her, and then her name was Matsyagandha. So because she was born from the fish, and because of that her entire body was smelling, has a intense smell of fish. So then she said that I have this smell. So then that was her first argument. She said, now because this is in the middle of river, there are so many things, so many people are watching. So when we say people, even if you say that you are somewhere close, but the sun is watching, moon is watching, then all the devatas, they are also watching. So then she said, yeah, because of this it's not good for me. And then also she said, I am a kanya, so I'm not yet married, so I want to preserve my uh, virginity. So so then Parashar Muni, he said that don't worry, all this problem will be sorted. I will give you boon that you will basically your body now it is smelling like a fish, but I will give you boon that your body will smell like the fragrance will be so great from your body that like till kilometers people will just recognize you based on the fragrance. Earlier it was a bad odor, but now after this it becomes uh, very fragrant. And then second, he said immediately by his power, this Parashar Muni, he covered, there was a big fog came all of a sudden, and then because of that nobody, even the devatas from the sky, they were also even the sun or moon rays were also not able to reach there. And he said that I promise you that you will still remain a virgin even after giving birth to child. So this was not a this was not the regular process like which we how we born. So the rishis, they have the rishis are devatas, they have the power, just by their words you can get the child. So because they have such power, just by their desire, just by their blessings, so they don't need to go through these physical processes. So then that's how at that time then Vyasdev, he was born, and he was not born as a child, he was born as a young grown up person. Yeah, so he was not something like child. So then and then immediately he was there was one uh, island nearby. So because he was born on that island, which is called as Dvipa in Sanskrit, so that's, and he has a dark complexion, that's why his name was Krishna Dvaipaya. So that's how Vyas, the author of this Shrimad Bhagavatam, that's how he was born. He was not born as a child, he was born as a young grown adult, because he was the incarnation of Krishna. So he's not bound. So we all are taking birth due to our karma, but that's not the case with Krishna. He's beyond the karma. So that's how the Vyas Maharshi came, and as soon as he took birth, he then offered obeisances to Parashar Muni and Satyavati Mata, and he said that now I am going for my mission. I want to write the scriptures for people in general to come. So then he also promised Satyavati that whenever you need me, if you just remember me, I will come there. And then Vyas Maharshi, then his name was Krishna Dvaipayan. So earlier there was only one Vedas. So these Vedas, they consist of spiritual knowledge about Krishna, about God. So earlier it was only one Veda, but where this Krishna Dvaipayan, he divided that Veda into four parts. So now we have four Vedas: Yajurved, Samaved, Atharvaved, yes, Rigved. So like this, so he divided this Vedas into four parts. So that's why his name is a Vyas. Vyas means Vistar, division. So you see diameter, the circle is there. If you want to divide circle in two equal parts, how you do it? Via diameter, right? Which is coming from the center. So that is called as diameter. So this diameter is called as Vyasa in Sanskrit. So because he divided the Vedas, that's why he is known. His name, he got the name Vyas, Veda Vyas, because he did the Vistar of Vedas. So now this Vyas Maharshi, he composed, he basically wrote 4 Vedas, divided the one original Veda into four parts. Then also he wrote the Puranas, different 18 Puranas like Vishnu Puran, Shiv Puran, Brahma Puran, like that. And then Mahabharat, he wrote Mahabharat. And then he wrote 108 Upanishad. So his entire literature was immense. So we will, even if we want to read all this in our life, it becomes very difficult for us. So after composing all such a great work, all such literatures, still Vyas Maharshi, so basically he was author of more than 150 books, and these books, they were the most accomplished, though these books are the highest selling books. So he was well established, the best author in the world at that time, Vyas Maharshi. But still, even after doing all this work, he was feeling dissatisfaction within his heart. So that's the difference between us and the saintly person, that even if they achieve, even if they have big achievement, they still introspect, and they have that humility. Like, let's say if we achieve something very really big, then we feel that, oh, there is no one better than me, right? Isn't it? But Vyasdevji, even though he did such a great work which no one ever in the history has done, still he was grounded, still he was humble, and he was contemplating. And in his deep heart, he was sitting at the bank of Saraswati river, and then he was contemplating that why I'm not feeling that satisfaction, why I'm not having that contentment. So like this, he was introspecting and he was thinking. And when he was thinking like that, the thought came to his mind. He said, maybe I missed something very tangible, and because of that, this is happening. And then that time, as soon as he was thinking like this, he saw a great effulgent personality coming from the sky, traveling with Veena in his hand. What is his name? Narada Muni. So then Narad Muni, who was guru of Vyasdev, the spiritual master of teacher of Vyasdev. So Narad Muni came there. So Narad Muni is a elevated personality. Somehow in the serials, Narad Muni is portrayed as a very in a very wrong way. Like his job is just to make quarrel between two parties. Narad Muni is not like that. He is the extremely elevated. You name the person, you will see the connection of Narad Muni there. He has such a great disciple like Vyasdev. The Krishna himself, the literary incarnation of Krishna, is taking Diksha from from Narad Muni. Such a great person. His another disciple is Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva. So he's such a great person. So one should not offend Narad Muni like this. He's extremely elevated, and his only thought is how somehow I can bring all these people in general towards at the lotus feet of Krishna. That's his thought process, and for that he does all the things. So then Narad Muni, then Vyas Maharshi, he welcomed Narad Muni and he gave him the throne, the big Sinhasan, and he worshipped him how he worshipped Brahma. So then he worshipped Narad Muni, and then he asked, then Narad Muni asked him questions. So those questions we can see in the 5th chapter. So now we discuss the 4th chapter. So in the 4th chapter it begins. So it begins with some question from the sages of Shaunakadi Rishigan. They are asking like, about the Shukadeva Goswami, who basically narrated this Shrimad Bhagavatam. So they are asking about him. So we'll come to Shukadeva Goswami later. I don't want to confuse you between so many different names. So I want to keep it simple. So then in the fourth chapter finished when the Narad Muni appears. So now we are going into the fifth chapter. So where now there will be a root cause analysis, that why Vyasdev is not feeling satisfaction. So then he asked several questions, that are you not happy, and then Vyas Maharshi, when he was about to speak, Narad Muni already knowing that what is in his heart, and then Narad Muni informed Vyasdev that you have done such a great work. You have created, you have written Mahabharata, which is a historical reality. You have divided Vedas in different parts. You have done a great work. But what happened? You miss the essence of that. You have, why you are not satisfied? Because you have not sufficiently glorified the Nama, Rupa, Guna and Lila. The name, form, beauty and the pastimes of Lord Krishna. You have not sufficiently glorified the process of devotional service, and because of that you are not getting satisfaction. You have not exclusively focus on the on the pastimes or on the glorification of Lord Krishna, and which is the essence of all, and because of that you are feeling this discontentment in your heart. And then he gave Narad Muni then gave the analogy that your literature is based on your literature is such that it is perfect composition, poetically, grammatically it is perfect. But then the saintly people who has nivritta tarshe upagiya mana bhaushadam shotra manobhiraman, the saintly people, the great sages who has gone through this hankering of me and my mind, I want to enjoy the resources of this world, I want to exploit the resources, I want to get happiness on the cost of others. They have gone, they have they have conquered all these feelings, and they have become extremely purified. And these sages, they don't approach the literatures even though it is so grammatically correct, it is so poetic, it is so nice to hear, it is so appealing to our ears, but that is like a place for place of pilgrimage for the crows. So he was very graphic. So usually where crows goes, if crow wants to eat, where crow goes, it always goes at filthy places, right? So there is a difference between swan and crow. Swan goes where? Swan goes where there is a purity, right? There is a you will always see swan in a very clean place, right? But at near the filthy place you always see the crow. So he is now telling Vyasdev that whatever you have now composed, it is like a place of pilgrimage for the crows, because you have only focus on four aspects: dharma, artha, kama and moksha. So your literatures which you have done till now, it is based on these four aspects: dharma, artha, kama and moksha. But you forget about the pancham purushartha, and which is premo pumarto mahan, to achieve the ecstatic love of Krishna, to perform the pure devotional service of Krishna. Because when a soul performs that action, the soul gets the complete satisfaction. That's the actual dharma of the soul. सवय पुंसा परो धर्मो यथो भक्तिर अदोक्षजे अहेतुकी अप्रतियता य आत्मा सुप्रसिद्धति. So that's the ultimate occupational duty of all the living entities. So because you have not exclusively glorified that, that's why you have done disservice for people in general. Why? Because people in general, they are attracted to the fruitive activities. They are so when we say fruitive activity, means the karma kanda vidhi, that okay, you worship this, then in return you will get this, right? So even though, let's say, even if you get the wealth of this entire world, right, are you going to hold it for eternity? Why?
Because you will die.
Isn't it? Yeah. So everything, whatever you see in this world, it is temporary, right? We can't have so even though if we better our life, we get so much of comfort in our life, we have all the resources of this world, but still after death we will not able to take anything of this. So then those who are very intelligent people, they don't invest their energy in just acquiring these things. So that's what Krishna is also telling in Gita. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adyantavanta kaunteya na teshu ramate buddha. So Buddha means one who is intelligent person. So the intelligent person is one who doesn't invest his entire time in running after the petty things which comes by the interaction of matter. So whatever the happiness or distress which we experience in our life, it is temporary. It is like Krishna says, matra sparshastu konte ashitoshna sukha dukkhada. In how when winter comes, we see there is a snow outside. When summer comes, we see all the plants, they are so happy, there is greenery everywhere, like, but these seasons, they keep changing, isn't it? So similarly, this sukha and dukkha, the happiness and distress, they will come based on our karmic factor, based on our decisions in our life, it will come. So but these things are temporary, they are keep changing. So why to hanker for such things? So this human life is not. So that's what in the Mahabharata, Vyasa Maharshi mentions that ahar nidra bhayamaithunam cha samanya etat pashubi naranam dharmo itesho adhiko vishesho dharmo vihina pashubi saman. So Vyasa Maharshi is making this distinction that there are four things which are common between we human being and animals. Which are they? First is eating. We also eat, animals also eat, right? The food items are different, but the activity is same, right? So we eat. Then second is we sleep. They also sleep, we also sleep. Then third is bhaya. We also try to protect ourselves. So all our LinkedIn profile, basically, if you think deep enough, it is for financial stability, right? Of course there is an intellectual satisfaction, but the governing factor is, if I don't be relevant in this world, I will not get job, or I will not able to run my entrepreneurship, isn't it? So there is a fear factor. Why we need money? Because it gives us some sense of security, isn't it? That's why we are working hard, because there is a fear that if I don't have anything, how I will able to feed my family, how I will able to maintain myself. That thought is there. So we have the defense mechanism within us. Similarly, animals also have the defense mechanism in them. They also know how to protect themselves. And the fourth is maithuna. So we also procreate, and animals, they also procreate. So if our life is only centered around these four things, then will not be called as manushya, will not be called as a human. we will just become, our lifestyle will become like a animalistic lifestyle. So, Manushya Rupena Pashubhi Saman. Our consciousness is of animals only. Animal has only one consciousness. How I can enjoy the resources of this world. If our consciousness is also same, that I want to enjoy the resources of this world, then what is the use of having this special human form of life? Because this human form of life is so rare. It is it has infinite capacity. Using this human form of life is not just to do these four things, but it is given to us for higher inquiries. Now animal cannot inquire about God. Animal cannot inquire this question about who I am, right? Human being can do that. Animal cannot question that why I am suffering, why I need to go through this cycle of birth, old age, disease and death. Only human being can do that. So that's why this faculty of human life, it is providing us, it is it is given for a very higher purpose. This human life is given to develop a higher consciousness, not the consciousness of animal. So if we develop a consciousness of animal, we will be promoted to the animal kingdom. So it is just like you have received a very valuable diamond, and then you did not realize the value of diamond, and then you just use it as a stone to break the almond in your kitchen. That's not the use of diamond, right? It's extremely precious. So similarly, this human life is extremely precious. So this life is given to all of us to ask this question, who really I am? Because whatever we are identifying with in this world, everything is temporary. Even our identity is based on what? Currently our identity is based on this body, isn't it? So as soon as, but this body itself is not temporary, is not permanent, right? So that means our current identity, so for example, my name is Prataprudhra Das. So this is a real identity, but this identity is only for some years, till the time I'm staying in this body. So this is given to us on a rent, right? So we should maintain this body, obviously, but just to maintain this body is not the goal of life. This is given to us for some higher purpose, and that higher purpose is to ask this question, who really I am, to understand ourselves. So spirituality is not understanding someone else, it is about understanding who I am. So the spiritual life starts with the question, Athato Brahma Jidnyasa, who I am. So if we understand who I am, then we will understand what is my duty. Then we will understand what's the purpose of my life. If we are this body, then whatever we are doing, it makes sense. But then if I am not this body, one day I will need to leave this body aside. So then who I am? So that, then the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells that you are not this body, you are spirit, soul, you are Atma. And then let's say if I am a Atma, I am a spirit, soul, then what is my duty? What is my dharma? Dharma means characteristic. What is my characteristic? So that characteristics is the dharma of like for example, the dharma of sugar is to become a being sweet, right? The dharma of the characteristics of water is liquid. Similarly, what is our characteristics? So our characteristic is, our dharma is savai punsa paro dharmo yatho bhaktir adhokshaje ahetuki apratiyata ya atma supasithati. So our real identity is, we are servant of God, we are servant of Krishna. This is our real identity. Jivera swarup hoy Krishna nitya das. This is our real identity. So in current state, whatever the facilities we have, if we engage our mind, our senses in service of Krishna, that is a perfection. And this is the path of bhakti. That we don't need to leave anything or abandon anything. Whatever we have, use that in the service of Krishna. So currently our consciousness is, I want to enjoy the resources of nature. But no matter how much you strive, you will never able to enjoy the resources of this world to the full extent. It's not possible. So the happiness is not it's not possible to get the happiness from the matter. So for that we need, when we serve Krishna, when we engage our consciousness in service of Krishna, then that times what will happen? We will experience divinity in our life, and that will be the perfection of our life. So this is what Narada Muni is telling to Vyasa Maharshi, that my dear Vyasdev, you have glorified the processes of karma kanda or uh, or different paths, or for that matter, you have not exclusively glorified the process of bhakti, the glories of Krishna. Because what happens? So what is the difference between the literature which is glorifying the activities of Krishna? So that's what Narad Muni is telling in the next verse, that tadvag visargo janatagha viplavo yasmin pratishlokam abhadvati api namani anantasya yashopagani shrunvanti gayanti grunanti sadhava. So earlier he was telling to Vyasa Maharshi that a perfect being. So currently we are not perfect. We have so many material hankerings. We have not achieved that state of peace. So that's why we are not perfect. But what a perfect being do? So then in the first thing they said what they don't do. That even if some literature having a great poetical composition, but if it is not glorifying the activities of Krishna, the process of bhakti, then that is the perfected being, they will not honor that. But on the other side, yadvag visargo janataga viplavo yasmin pratishlokam abhadvati api, even though there is some literature which has apparent faults, it has grammatical mistakes, or the words are not correct, but if it is glorifying the nama rupa guna and lila of Krishna, then what happens? The shrunvanti gayanti grunanti sadhava. So these sadhus, this perfected being, even this literature has apparent mistakes, they accept, and then they basically discuss and churn that literature. So what is important? Because when a conditioned soul like all of us, when they hear about the nama roop guna and lila, when they hear about the activities of Krishna, they hear about the glory of Krishna, that times what happens? It has the power to create revolution in this world. It has the power to create revolution in the life of the living entities. Yadvag visargo janataga viplavo. It can create a revolution in the heart of the living entities, and it will take them from the current state of I am the enjoyer towards the another state, that to serve Krishna. And in that state, the living entity can really experience the happiness. So then Narad Muni, then he instructed Vyasdev that now you please compose a scripture which is based on this foundation, which is not just revolving around the four things, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. It is based on the pure devotional service, the selfless service towards Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna. And then then basically this is the last composition of Vyasa Maharshi. Then he wrote this Shrimad Bhagavatam. after this discussion with Narad Muni, then Vyas Maharshi, he basically composed this Shrimad Bhagavatam. That's why this Shrimad Bhagavatam is called as Vedanta Sutra, which is Sutra means formula. So the basically all the essence of the Vedas you can find in Shrimad Bhagavatam. So also it is called as Puranam Shrimad Bhagavata Purana Amalam. So it has no faults. This Shrimad Bhagavatam. Why it has no faults? Because it is situated. It is not on the platform of mode of goodness or passion or ignorance. It is situated in the Vishuddha Sattva. It is not different from Krishna. So because it is Shivadam, it is pure. So that's why Dharma Projita Kaitavotter Parama Nirmat Saranam Sata. So it is completely pure, the fully ripened fruit of Vasudeva's understanding. So that's why this Shrimad Bhagavatam is extremely sacred. So we all are so fortunate that we have access to this Shrimad Bhagavatam, which is essence of all the scriptures. And this is Vyasdevji has composed this in the maturity of his understanding. So even though he is the incarnation of Krishna, this is the best product of Vyas Maharshi which is available for each and every one of us. So what will happen if we study Shrimad Bhagavatam? So that prayers we chanted earlier, Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So what will happen if we regularly hear this Shrimad Bhagavatam, this Katha, then what will happen? Our heart will become purified. This contamination of lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, illusion, it will go away from our heart and our heart will become purified, and then we will situated in this path of bhakti. So then in the fifth chapter, now Narad Muni is telling about his own story, that how who was he in the previous life, but that story we will discuss next time. So any questions on this?
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Yeah.
Prabhu, for a really nice class and your efforts. It's quite big topic, so you really did well. Just explaining it in a simple words, like such complicated topics.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so I have a question. So if somebody doesn't, it's not that advanced philosophically and doesn't want to read Srimad Bhagavatam, is it possible still to advance spiritually?
See, spiritual advancement is based on the sincerity. It's not based on the means how you are doing. If you are really sincere, then definitely Krishna will bestow his mercy, because bhakti is a path of grace, and the grace cannot be demanded, it is given. So whenever Radharani and Krishna will be happy with us, they will bestow their mercy. But this Srimad Bhagavatam is non-different from Krishna. It is literary incarnation of Krishna, and if you don't have much interest in reading, but then we can hear it. Then if you can't, if you are not feeling much inspired to read, then you can hear. So when you hear, then that time in the association of the devotees like this, then what will happen? Our consciousness or our thought process or our likings, that will change, and exactly that happened in the life of Narad Muni. So Narad Muni, he was I will just briefly mention the story. So, Narad Muni, he was a son of maid servant in his previous life. Before that, he was a Gandharva, Upaharan was his name. But then he got cursed and he became a son of maid servant. So he was staying in the forest with his mother, and during the Chaturmasya period, So it's basically the rainy season in India. So many great sages, they stay at one place, because what is the job of sages? They just wander, they just travel and give this message of Krishna consciousness to everyone. But in rainy season it is not possible, because there is a flood, or it's a heavy rain, heavy monsoon. So that's why they used to sit at one place and they used to churn whatever they have understanding. So like this, during the Chaturmasya period, some Bhakti Vedanta means those who have understood the essence of the scriptures. So this group of Bhakti Vedantas, they visited the house of Narad Muni and they were staying. And Narad Muni, what he did, he was a small child, 5 years old boy. But the specialty of Narad Muni was he was self-controlled. He was not very keen on playing. He was self-controlled. And then he heard their narration, and also he served them. He took their remnants, and because of that, his consciousness become purified. So this association of devotees, satsang, it has association creates aspiration. So if something is not, we are find a difficulty, then when we come together in the satsang, it gives us power to perform that action. So if we can't read, we can hear. Once you hear, then you will get motivation to do that. And we don't need to, like, if you have a small goal, like I will just read one verse. So then once you start reading one verse, interest will get created, and eventually will start it, end up reading more. Yeah. Hare Krishna.